Hi, Ciaran. Thank
Hi,
you so
Max.
much for coming to BizTalk. That's my big pleasure having you here. So let's talk about yourself a little bit, who you are.
Okay, thank you, Max. Pleasure to be here. My name is Ciaran Haughey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Table4One. My own background is that I spent 25 years in the corporate world, most of which has been running international operations for multinationals. So that's everything from managing global customer service to supply chain and logistics, HR, tech. I've worked across multiple industries. I've worked across the tech industry, financial services, and health and wellness industries. And my kind of passion is in solving problems. So I've built a career out of fixing problems. I'm the kind of guy that runs towards fires, I think it was described as. So when other people are scarpering and trying to get away from problems, I'm curiously attracted to what's causing them and trying to fix what the problems are.
That's a good value. That's a very good one. It's not for everyone solving problem. A lot of people, they just a troublemaker.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
not solver.
Yeah, well, the bigger the problem, the more it intrigues me, and the more I'm attracted to it. And you know, when somebody says it can't be done, then that's when my interest really gets piqued.
That's absolutely lovely. That's great. Thank you. I mean, let's talk about more about your business and what is behind Table4One.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of context. So in my previous career, I spent a lot of time traveling on business. So probably about 30% of my time was traveling, and that's a good number because it's enough to be interesting, but not too much so it gets really problematic. And I loved traveling on business. I loved going to different places and meeting different people from different cultures, and even eating different food. And I was very fortunate to see a lot of the world while traveling in business. But the bit that I've always not liked has been the isolation and the loneliness, because a lot of the travel that I've done has been alone and has been solo. So that's where the pain point came. It's a personal pain point of mine. There's actually a bit of a story. So I was in Manchester in the UK a few years ago, and I just closed one of the biggest deals in my career, and I was ecstatic. I was delighted. I wanted to celebrate. It was a cold, wet November's night, and I decided to treat myself to a nice meal. I wanted to celebrate, but I was on my own. So celebrating on your own isn't really a lot of fun. And as I went into the restaurant, I actually counted 10 other people in the same restaurant eating on their own as well. And something just clicked in my mind. And I was fortunate enough to be seated at a table next to a really interesting guy. And a huge coincidence, he had just finished reading a book, which he gave me his copy. It's a book called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. Huge coincidence. And like literally that book, that conversation, that guy that night changed my life. So that's the concept of Table4One. So taking that feeling of loneliness and isolation and creating a life-changing opportunity for people. So yeah, that's where the concept, the idea came from. I realized that I wasn't alone. I realized that there was other people feeling this as well. And I just saw the opportunity that one encounter can make, and Table4One is really to do that at scale.
I mean, I know the pain very well. I've been eating. I'm still eating alone. I mean, not that much now because we don't travel that much, but before,
yes,
almost every night, every
yes.
evening. I've been eating alone for a very long time. But anyway, what do you want to do? If there is no one else, that's the only option you have.
Well, you see, there might be somebody else in the next restaurant or the hotel up the road, and like often we might get talking to somebody at a bar or something like that, but the person that we really need to talk to could be 3 tables away, and we're just missing that opportunity. So, you know, it's connecting people who've got an interest, who've got a similarity, who've got shared industry, so that, you know, the people that you need to talk to, if they're in the same location, we can connect you and put you together.
Yeah, can we talk more about this? About
Yeah,
how you define, how you create the network?
sure. Will I go through the pitch, or will
Yeah,
I just?
absolutely, if you
Yeah.
want.
Okay. So I'll give you the context of the deck, and then, you know, the question that you asked will hopefully emerge from the deck that I go through.
Sure.
So the problem that we've identified is that half of business travel is solo, and a lot of business travelers don't like being on their own. So there's a feeling of loneliness and isolation. But on the flip side of the same coin, hospitality are trying to attract more high spending business guests. So they're not actually capitalizing on the solo guest or the solo traveler. And the whole corporate travel sector doesn't recognize or doesn't cater for solo business travelers. And by not catering for that cohort, there are huge opportunities been missed or been lost. So the solution is to connect the solo business travelers via the Table4One platform. And what we do then is, once we connect 2 people, we arrange for them to meet up in partner establishments. So we can steer them towards specific hospitality establishments to meet up. For the corporate travel industry, we can generate leads and more networking opportunities. And there's also an aspect of traveler well-being or the well-being of employees. You know, so loneliness, isolation isn't good for people's well-being, for their mental health, and that's something that we address as well. So Table4One is taking the solo out of solo travel. We do that by geolocating and profiling the solo business travelers. So we find out where you are and what your profile is and preferences are, and then we connect solo business travelers based on similarities, based on similar profile, based on similar preferences, and then we facilitate the meetups with our partner establishments. So based on your preferences, based on your profile, we can suggest the best place for you to meet up. It might be a restaurant, it might be a game of golf, for example, if both people are interested in that, and depending on the time that they have available. The market is huge. So these are even the figures through 2020 during the worst of COVID. So global business travel was still a $694 billion business. Pre-COVID, it was a $1.4 trillion business. On food and beverage, even in 2020, there was $146 billion spent on food and beverage. And on solo meals, there was a huge $40 billion spent on solo meals, even during the COVID pandemic. So as we emerge from that number will only increase. You know, it'll take a while for us to recover, but it's still a huge number to start off with. For business travelers, we reduce loneliness and isolation. We generate new opportunities for them, whether that's a pipeline of new business or new career opportunities. And, you know, they get a better experience, and they can have those life-changing encounters that I mentioned earlier on. For the industry, we partner with hospitality and travel customers with existing audiences. So this comes to your question originally about how we build our audience. So by partnering with hospitality and travel companies, we can offer the functionality to them, but we can also access their customers and their guests. We then connect the business travelers to meet up in the real world, and we take a revenue share for that increased spend in the partner establishments. So just to give you an example of that, if you think of a solo business traveler, you know, a lot of the time they will order a room service, or they may even go out from the hotel. But by ordering room service is typically one course and one drink, and one person. With Table4One, we get the person down into the restaurant of the hotel. Ideally, we get somebody else from outside of the hotel to come and join them. And one person, one course, one drink becomes two people, three courses, a glass of wine becomes a bottle of wine, and a cocktail or a drink afterwards. So we can effectively upgrade a 30 euro bill to a 150 euro bill, and everybody's happy. So the hospitality industry is happy, the business travelers are happy, and we then take a revenue share from that increased spend. The market itself is vastly underserved. So most of our competition is in the B2C space, and they're not focused on business travel. So our target is specifically in the B2B space. Lunch Club, for example, would be a competitor of ours. They don't have a business model. They don't have any way of generating revenue, and they're growing their audience one person at a time. Whereas our approach is to partner with, say, for example, a hotel chain and access 1 million customers at a time. So we have a unique networking proposition. In terms of timing, so if you think about pre-COVID, we were talking to hotel chains, for example, and they were running at 95% occupancy. So that was a challenge when it comes to offering an innovative new proposition. Now we're talking to the same hotel chains and they're at 30, 40, 50% occupancy. So they're really hungry for any kind of innovation that will offer them increased revenue, that will offer them a competitive edge. The supply and demand equation in hospitality is very much out of whack. So it's super competitive, and we can help people get that additional revenue, get that competitive edge. From an exit point of view, we believe that our proposition in itself is highly valuable, but the data that we will gather and the data that we will accumulate on the business travelers will present a really interesting exit opportunity down the road for us. And there's a huge variety of big brands that would be really interested in the data that we have, as well as the service and the features and the functionality that we can offer. We have a really strong team with literally decades of experience running big business. We have a lot of strength and depth. We all think very differently, which is something that I've very deliberately tried to cultivate. And you know, we think differently, but we have a common goal and a common objective, and we're supported by really world-class advisors with you know, very big Rolodexes and a lot of experience across multiple sectors and industries. We launched our MVP app and got 50,000 downloads in more than 100 countries. So we believe that there's a proven global appetite. We've had fantastic reception at the industry events that we've presented at. So there's a big appetite and a big demand for it. We have agreed partnership opportunities with a variety of different partners that can offer us monetization pretty much out of the gate. We are raising 350K of seed investment because we need to build our next version of the platform to integrate the partnership opportunities that we have so that we can be a true B2B platform. Our MVP is very much a B2C proposition. So we want to build the functionality so that we can offer Table4One to the business audience and the partnership opportunities to brands that we really want to progress. So we're raising 350K for 10% of equity. We're going to use that to launch our next version of the platform. You know, that'll get us to 100,000 users. Our forecast shows getting 2,500 meetups. We will be revenue generating. We do plan to do further rounds beyond this, but this will very much allow us to get the right foundations in place and to demonstrate the value that we can offer to the industry and to the business travelers. And that's the deck. We believe this is a fantastic investment opportunity. We have established a really good team. We've really interesting value propositions. We have partnership agreements that are ready to deliver, and we just need the fuel to be able to make it happen.
Very clear. Thank you very much. Let me ask you some questions. When
Sure.
it comes to getting on board users, all right? So the
Yes.
B2B model, it's pretty clear. Okay, you go to the let's say hotels, maybe restaurants, and they probably will promote your application, right, as well.
Yes.
How do we get on board users? I mean, travelers.
So if you think about the hotels that you have talked about, a lot of them are using digital technology. So we can be a little button on their app or their website, where, you know, if they're going to check into the hotel, they can say, okay, well, you're going to Berlin on Tuesday the 30th. There's 10 other interesting people nearby. Are you interested in meeting on them? So they click on the button and then they can move over into our platform. So if you think, for example, of Marriott as an example, Marriott has 120 million users on their 127 million users on their Bonvoy app, or they have 127 million people subscribe to their Bonvoy a frequent flyer. So you know, we can be a presence and a feature that they can offer to their users. So that's one example. Another example is travel management companies. So a lot of the corporates use dedicated travel management companies to book all of their corporate travel. So by doing a deal with one travel management company, we can open up, again, tens of thousands of users that we can access with a button on their portal. So they're the examples of the things that we want to do. The partnership opportunities that we have established already are with the technological partners who offer those apps and hotel functionality. So, you know, we can integrate with those platforms and make it easy for hotels to switch it on. So it'll be switched on at almost at the click of a button, that you know, we can offer our functionality to the hotel with very little integration work.
When it comes to revenues, we have one revenue stream, okay? Do you think, are you going to add more revenue streams in the future?
Yes, yeah. So the initial one that I mentioned was the revenue from the hospitality partners. As we build scale, our plan is to have freemium offers, so microtransactions that we can offer to users to access richer features and functionalities, or to get specific matches. And just as an example of that, if somebody wants to meet a CFO in the pharma industry, then we can make that happen, but that would be a paid service or a paid functionality. And similarly, you know, if somebody wants to promote themselves in an area where there's a lot of potential opportunities, they can boost their profile so that they get up to the top, so that they're, you know, seen as a more attractive opportunity for people to meet. So things like that would be one. We also envisage some marketing opportunities. We can be very targeted with our with our marketing. So, we'll know who's going to be in a specific location on a specific date. So, if for example, there's an event happening in that location on that date, they can target very specifically the people who are going to be there on the time. So we can offer very effective and cost-effective marketing opportunities as well. So that there's multiple revenue streams that we envisage.
Are you going to partnering with, I don't know, events organizers?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's something that we have found that it works really well with events. So
because you are B2B in terms of revenue generating, but you are B2C in terms of users, right? Because
correct.
you go to consumer now. Consumers,
Yes.
yeah, business travel, but still consumers. Now, the premium, which you were talking before, because this kind of premium service,
Yes.
given to the users, is where you want to generate the B2C. Okay.
Yes.
Revenue.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Now, 2,500 users to break even, right? That's for meals. I mean, this for having dinner, whatsoever. My question is quite technical, but if I am a hotel, okay, and how do I know that your user is going to eat in my restaurant and the user is going to bring another guy and the ticket instead of to be 30 is going to be 150?
Okay, that's a really good question. So we have spoken with some hospitality experts, and there's a variety of ways to do it, but I'll give you one example. So one way to do it is with a coupon or voucher code or a promo code. So we can give the user a promo code that when they go into the restaurant, they say, I'm Table4One 123, and that gets them a free glass of Prosecco. And then that gets keyed in as a button on the hotel's point of sale system. And then we can reconcile it back to the guest portfolio. And our model is that we only charge for the people that we put into the restaurant. So, there's no risk or downside for the hospitality partner. So that does that answer your question?
It's pretty clear. So they need to go to the restaurant because you are giving to them, let's say, not something for free, but a free drink or whatever it is, and they say, I'm coming from Table4One, okay? And this is why they can recognize this, your, let's say, your client or not, because the complementary service we give the boost, right?
Yes.
Which is okay, that makes sense. Do they charge, do you get your revenue, which means your percentage of the dinner from the difference between 30 and 150, or you get from, it's very technical, but revenue matters a lot in business, or you get from 150 minus 30, the estimation.
Yeah, that's all negotiable. That's all negotiable.
Yeah. Okay, there is no fixed rules yet. I mean,
no.
This is just my concern, but I think is something probably we are going to address. What about a rushing? What about, because you have women as well, and not only men, right? So for a man going out for, of course, is a, they decide, okay? If I'm asking to you, coming from data because I want to talk about business, you can decide coming or not. So I'm not going to make a decision for you.
Yes.
But sometimes you know better than me what happens, right? And do you want to address this with some, I don't know, cybersecurity or something similar, or any kind of tool that can protect, okay, which is more vulnerable?
So is your question about whether this, will be perceived as a dating platform? Is that
yeah.
what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's something we've put a lot of thought and consideration into. A lot of feedback from women is that they would like to have the option to meet only other women. So that's allowed within the app, within the platform. So, you know, you can select as a man, you only want to meet other men, or as a woman, you only want to meet other women. You don't have to do that. So some men and women are more comfortable or don't mind who they meet, but certain people will be more comfortable meeting men, meeting their own gender. So that's something that we can do. Another thing that we're going to do as the next version is that we will require people to use their LinkedIn profile to register. So again, that gives another level of security. We have a security consultant that we're engaging as part of the development of the next version to make sure that we are doing everything we possibly can. But the interesting thing is, you know, I've had that conversation several times with people who have come to an event in an Uber and stayed in an Airbnb the night before. So, you know, in terms of where I see the risk personally, if you're meeting somebody in a crowded restaurant versus getting into a car with a stranger versus staying in a stranger's home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know which one that I feel most secure and safe.
Better the restaurant because it's public. There is
exactly.
I don't think there is even to think about, right? That's absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do believe Uber, Airbnb, they're all really very much, you know, considering all the measures possible, right, to avoid what already happened. That's why.
Sure.
It's actually happening every day because these are people. You never know who is on the other side. By the way, public, sitting on the table, nothing really can happen.
Yes, yeah.
You can always walk and go away without any problem. I mean, how do you scale this business?
How do we scale it?
Yeah.
We scale it with the right partnerships. So offering it to the right companies. So like the hospitality market, for example, a huge proportion of the hospitality market is controlled by the top 10 brands. So, you know, one or two partnerships with a couple of those brands can scale this opportunity phenomenally. Similarly, with travel management companies, you know, the travel management company sector, there aren't a huge amount of players there, and the top players control a huge amount of that market. So, you know, with a few key strategic partnerships, we can scale this phenomenally. So we scale this through partnerships and through offering the functionality that they are looking for, and through targeting this vastly underserved opportunity. So as I said at the outset, nobody's capitalizing on the solo traveler, the solo business traveler. And like, even if you look at the data that's available, there's very little data there because they're not categorized as a cohort. So by serving that cohort, by delivering, you know, what they want, and by offering that to the big brands, we can scale this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a very unserved sector.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody actually, nobody's just few. I mean, it's not that easy probably to collect data on this sector. So you need to pay a lot of attention and make a lot of effort to collect all the data you need in terms to create a good database and start improving your algorithm, machine learning, AI, and everything you're using, right?
Yes,
I do believe there's a pain for many, it is for me, because I travel all the time except for now, and I really understand. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been eating in my room or alone, but also what is you're right. If I'm eating sometimes I just stop to the bar and have a drink after the dinner because it's so boring.
Yeah.
But of course, if I'm sitting with someone else, maybe after the dinner, we move to the bar. And after having a meal, maybe we have another 5 drinks. And we spend more money drinking than eating.
Yes.
And this is what it is. Probably 30 is going to 300 because you never know what's going to happen, right? And
Yes.
Be with other people, everything comes in a completely different way.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't manage your time anymore, right? It's collectively managed.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do believe we had already a couple of years ago when you started, we had already a very nice talk. And I do believe that's a very good venture and can go well. It's very important if you get the right deal with the right guys. If you get married, that's half of the way done. And another couple big players, and probably have already all the market completely closed. And
Yeah. And it is a huge market. And I mentioned in the slides there, we're planning a trial with Ibis, which is part of Accor, which is either the 5th or 6th biggest hotel chain in the world. So we have an opportunity with Ibis already, and with the Accor group, that when they understand the value of the trial, that we can then potentially expand that out to
more than Airbnb. Booking.com, for example, for you would be an extremely huge player.
Absolutely.
Airbnb not that much, but probably yes, but is less hotel than many people with Airbnb, they go together already. But Booking.com, which I use almost all the time, alone, you're still alone. There is not they are very massive. So
yes, but
very partner.
Even Airbnb is something that they can offer it to their people, because typically in Airbnb they don't have a food offering. So how are people going to decide where to eat? And it's something we found, for example, with dealing with service departments, that they're interested in this opportunity because it's a way of them having a food offering and an opportunity to do something different. So with the service department, you could have somebody on a secondment for 3 months based somewhere, but how are they going to feel better about where they are? If they meet more people, then they feel more at home. And there is another interesting piece on this, that we've had a lot of feedback from people that they would meet somebody interesting in their home location. So, if they're at home and they find out that a CEO from the tech industry was coming to town, they would go and meet that person. So it's not only the business travelers, it's a business networking opportunity.
Yeah, but also working with as you said before, LinkedIn, Airbnb, or Booking.com will increase your security as well.
Absolutely.
Indeed. I think we covered almost everything. I would like to close with your message to the investors. So why they should give the money to you?
I'm confident that this is an incredible opportunity. I started the call talking about the life-changing opportunity that I experienced, and as an investor, you could create those life-changing opportunities for millions of people. So I believe that there's a phenomenal return on investment opportunity here. But beyond that, I think there's an opportunity to improve the lives of millions of people and improve the business opportunities that can be created around the world through putting the right people together. And for centuries, opportunities and civilizations have even been formed by people sitting down together and breaking bread. That's something that's in our core. It's something that we're genetically programmed to do, and this is a phenomenal opportunity to have to get in at a very early stage in something that is going to scale, is going to be phenomenal, is going to capture an underserved sector of the market, and deliver significant returns, but also deliver for society.
And let me add that this is the very right time, because we are getting, hopefully, out from the pandemic, and the venues, hotels, wherever they are, restaurants, they really need a boost. So you're helping them.
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
only you get the rise of the let's say the market, and get inside generating more revenue. So absolutely, that's a very right time to get into this business and investing in the right way.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ciaran.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you very much, and hope we can have another talk later, maybe another round.
Thank you, Max. Appreciate it. And yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do this again at Series A stage.
Great deal. Thank you, Ciaran. Thank you so much.